So, made this whole speech without hitting record. So, two scenarios when you shouldn't be squatting and when you should be squatting less. Number one, if you don't have the mobility, the necessary mobility to squat, I don't want you to squat. This is not a squat. Let me be clear. That's not a squat. That's an exercise. You can do that. You can work that into your routine, get development, but that's not a squat. So what I want you to do, when you do that, like that's an accessory to squatting, becoming stronger with the bottom or the top part of your squat. So a proper squat, there's only two. Okay. So you go underneath, proper stance, ears to grass. Now look at how low I am. The reason why is because there's quite good hip mobility and knee mobility. Like my body is comfortable being this low, comfortable having a conversation. Now, some of you haters will tell me that this is only 80 kilograms, but still, the weight needs to be moved and weight is relative in the gym. So I'm quite low down and I can do this with I think 180. Not this long, but like 180. So the drive, as you can see, my form was not compromised during the lift at all. So what we want to do is if you have mobility, I want you to do mobility training before you come squatting. You will never see a construction company going to a construction site and start building the house. No. Depending on how big you want the house to be or how grand you want it to look, you first need to make sure the foundation is there. Now, if you want an amazing tower, you need to go down levels in your foundation. And that's what mobility training will provide you. You want to become quite strong in your powerlifting, you don't want to get injured as often as these steroid addicts, then we want you to do a lot of mobility work. Rather go to a room where it's quiet in the gym, do mobility work instead of coming to squat. Because there's no point in coming to squat if you are unable to do mobility work. You understand? It's pointless. So for you to become strong, I want you to do a lot of mobility work. Okay? Mobility will help with a few things. Mobility will lower the risk of getting injured. So if you had let's say 80% chance of getting injured or 60% chance of getting injured, mobility will drop that down to 10 to 20%. It doesn't mean you're immune to getting injured, but it does lower the risk of you getting injured. Okay. This is the first way to squat. Then there's the 90-degree one as well, where you go 90-degree to the ground with the squat. So I love both of them. But the first one I showed you is not the squat. So if you do not have good mobility, squat it all. The second scenario in why you should not be squatting is quite simple. The reason why you shouldn't be squatting in the second scenario is when you have small calves. I've never met someone with small calf genetics that's been able to grow the calves no matter how much they've been working the calves. I've never seen a guy naturally obtaining bigger calves when he had smaller calves. So if that's you, then rather squat less because you don't want to walk around with big quads and small calves, legs like that. It won't place the emphasis on your quads, but it will place the emphasis on your calves because your calves are quite small. It's quite different to when you have a big chest, bigger shoulders, and small arms because you look imposing. But when you walk around with a sword and people see your small calves and your big quads, the quads won't get that compliment it deserves. Do you understand? So if you do have small calves, rather train less legs to look more aesthetic. But if the purpose is to have big quads, then might as well do it. I'm just saying that that's not wise if you're a beginner. So that's the two scenarios of why you should never be doing legs. Like I said, I'm a great proponent of doing all the exercises in the gym, but there are exceptions to when you shouldn't be doing exercises. And being lazy is not one of them. If you can do squats, if you have good mobility, good knee and hip mobility, then do squats. Okay? But there's no excuse for you not to do squats. Remember, there's 3 different variations in depth for squats. The first one is a great accessory to the squat. The second one and the third one is the only two that actually matter. So I'm going to show you variations in the squats. This will be variation 1. This is variation 1. Not a proper squat. Variation 2. Wait, it's a proper squat. in the race and trade. That's a proper squat. Again, with all three of them, you can do all three of them. But the first one needs to be an accessory to your squat. It shouldn't be your quad. It's main movement. Okay. That's the first one. So legs is not all it's cracked up to be. You shouldn't be forced into doing legs. If you don't want to walk around with big legs, if you're doing a sport like running where you don't need big legs, then don't do it because someone in the gym tells you that you need big legs.